Wake up. Wake up.
Oh, what time is it?
5:38 a.m.
I thought I told you not to set any alarms.
Apologies, but we have an incoming message from Bianca Buchanan. It is marked as urgent.
Okay, just bring up the lights. Play the message.
Hey, Ronan. Got a homicide job that I need your help on. I need you to dig for any information about a billionaire named Damien Detweiler. I'm forwarding all the information I have, but I need more. Consider this the favor you owe me for helping with the Jacobson incident. Thanks. Can't wait to see what you dig up.
So she's finally pulling the Jacobson card. Okay. Start the coffee and turn on the shower.
Done.
And order some Chinese. I'll take the usual.
Of course.
All right, Damien. Let's find out who you are. Oh, what? I'm coming.
Oh, hello again. To what do we owe the pleasure?
We need to talk.
They're above the law.
I'm afraid now is not a good time. My associate is busy with a client.
A client? Who?
Now that is not information I am at liberty to discuss.
If either of you have any other questions, I would be happy to answer them. Your rights and liberty are our chief concern.
Thank you for your time and expertise.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Walrath.
Please, call me Roger. Ah, Miss Buchanan. Oh, I'm sorry, that's presumptuous. Is it Mrs.?
Detective is fine.
Excuse us.
Very well, detective. Please come in and have a seat. Would you like a mint?
You have mints.
We do indeed. Here. Help yourself.
I'm fine, thanks.
Well, all right. What can we help you with?
What's going on here?
What, this? Mr. Medina and I are merely providing legal consultations to interested parties.
Exactly.
Educating them and advising them according to the statutes of the law.
You're running a practice out of your hotel room.
A lawyer's work is never done.
Oh, never done.
As long as there is crime and injustice, we will work tirelessly to fight it. The same as you, I presume.
Oh, that does have quite a good ring to it, don't you think, though? Walrath and Mathena, first ever lunar lawyers.
Yeah, you should definitely work that into your advertising.
Perhaps we should. But let's stop beating around the bush. Is there something you need, Detective?
I've started hitting some resistance in my investigation, and it seems to be stemming from the two of you. Do we have a problem?
I certainly hope not. Do we have a problem with her, Mr. Medina?
I can't imagine we do, Mr. Walrath. Your investigation is wholly yours to conduct. Mr. Walrath and I are only trying to defend against possible overreach and the undue infringement of rights.
Infringement of rights?
Yes. For example, your seizure of power and attempts to separate and restrict the access of married individuals and other pre-existing parties, which is unwarranted, unlawful, and a downright tyrannical abuse of power.
In addition, Mr. Walrath and I are also helping to ward against any attempts of coercion, intimidation, or interrogation with intent to prove guilt.
Correct.
Ah, I see. And I'm sure you're not benefiting from staying together or pressuring anyone into becoming part of your clientele, right?
Of course not. These consultations are completely pro bono.
Completely.
So what happens if you end up consulting with the murderer?
It's all part of the judicial process. Your job is to find them, ours is to represent them. And the sooner you do, the sooner we can. So I suggest we wrap up this little chat so we can all get back to work.
Where were the two of you the night of the 23rd?
We were here, working.
And is there anyone else that can corroborate that?
Oh no, Detective.
No.
You're not gonna play that game with us.
No, indeed.
I'm sure you're aware that this hotel is outfitted with a state-of-the-art surveillance system.
State of the art.
Maybe try that, instead of your interrogative harassment and Orwellian restrictions, or we will come after you for fraudulence and gross overreach.
Tell me you have something, because I feel like I'm beating my head against a wall.
Going that badly, huh?
It's not off to a great start. Plus, I couldn't sleep. At some point last night, my room's thermostat auto-adjusted to 78 degrees, and I couldn't figure out how to change it.
Yeah, mine too. I ended up just coming up here and seeing what I could find.
And?
I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is I can't find anything. But the good news is also that I can't find anything.
I'm sorry, I'm not in the mood for puzzles. Can you give me the specifics?
What I mean is, there's nothing here. I was scrubbing through the footage and there was no sign of anyone else besides Damien entering or leaving his room, which must be impossible. We know it wasn't suicide, and this door is the only entrance, so there has to be some explanation. I started coming through it again, going frame by frame. These cameras record at 48 frames per second, so that was no small task. But I managed to find this. Here. I sped up the playback to make it easier to see. Watch the shadows. See how they're slowly stretching along that wall as the position of the sun moves through the windows? And they keep going, and keep going, and boom! Right there. Did you see that? The shadows jump back, and then start moving along the wall again like before. Someone's tampered with the security feed and looped the footage.
Huh. That's subtle. How did you even notice it?
I make it my business to never discount the little things. In real time, it translates to 2 hours and 12 minutes of missing film. Plenty of time for someone to get there, murder Damien, clean up the scene, have a drink if they wanted, and then leave.
And too much time to be able to use that window to accurately narrow down our list of suspects.
We could try, but I'm afraid it probably won't be conclusive, especially without knowing when exactly the killer struck within that window. But I have another idea. The killer would have had to dispose of the murder weapon, right? I'm going to take that window of time and search all the cameras. If we find any other anomalies in the footage, I think there's a decent chance it's the killer covering their tracks and might lead us to where they stashed it.
Good thought. What about Lydia?
I checked. No sign of activity, and there aren't any windows facing the sun in her hallway, so any loot would be completely seamless. But since we know she didn't kill herself either, I'm going to assume that the feed has been tampered with as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, that reminds me. There was one more thing I wanted to show you. I confirmed the Damien and Lydia connection, but I got something else too. Here, this is about 24 hours before Damien's murder. He leaves his room and walks down the hallway and takes a left. Let me switch cameras. There. So he keeps walking. But do you see that girl sitting down in the corner of the picture?
Cypress?
Yeah, her. Anyway, she waits a couple of seconds and then gets up and starts walking after Damien. And it looks like she's watching him.
Interesting. What happens next?
Let me bring it up. There. They both keep walking past this camera. And these two. Then Damien turns here and walks down to Lydia's room. He looks at his phone, punches in the door code, and then goes inside. You can see here that Cypress watches him go, but then she continues on the other way and goes to the swimming dome. It's not necessarily incriminating, but I thought you might find it interesting.
And what about Damien?
Damien doesn't leave Lydia's room for 12 hours, and we know the wine glasses were used. Do you want me to theorize further?
They got separate rooms initially, though, and that costs a ton of money, so it must have been either secret or spontaneous.
Either way, we're back to the idea of a love triangle.
But with a few more leads to pursue. This helps, Cole. A lot. Oh, can you do me a favor?
Maybe. Depends what it is.
Earlier this morning, I felt like I was being watched. I don't know if it was just lack of sleep or something, but do you think you could check?
Where were you?
Saturn Wing, about 9:24?
Let's see. Yeah, you're right. Look here. She was following you, too.
And where's she now?
Let me cycle through the screens. It looks like... There. She's sitting up in the observatory.
Perfect. Thanks.
You want backup?
I think I'm okay.
Okay, well, I'll be here, seeing if I can detect this loop anywhere else and track our ghost through the absence they've left behind. But I'll keep a screen up on the observatory to make sure you're safe.
Okay, thanks. Let me know if you find anything else.
Will do.
I tried to keep my cool as I walked up the stairs to the observatory. I didn't like being spied on, as hypocritical as that might seem. She was after something. I just didn't know what yet. I reached the top and found her, sitting by the far wall, just like she had been in the surveillance footage. If looks could kill, I'd have arrested her on the spot for first degree. She had a notebook on her lap and was typing something.
The moon, stars, the sky, your arm.
Excuse me, Cypress?
Oh, hello, Detective Buchanan.
I know you've been following me. I'd like to know why.
Okay, you caught me. I should have known you would. I'm sorry. I was following you because I was curious about the case, but I didn't think you'd be fond of me asking to tag along.
And you'd have been right. So why did you anyway?
I love a good mystery. They're so irresistible. When I was little, I wanted to be a detective. I was so curious.
We have video evidence of you stalking a murder victim before his death and slinking around after a detective investigating the same murder. I'm going to need a whole lot better than an "I was curious."
Wait! No, you've got it wrong.
Enlighten me then. Why were you following Damien?
I really was curious and looking for any sort of inspiration that might get the creative juices flowing. I'm trying to write a new song for the concert, you see, and it's just not coming the way I wanted it to. Anyway, I'd heard about most of the others up here, and they really aren't that interesting, but I'd never met or heard of Damien before, and it seemed like he was up to something. I didn't see any harm in it, and I certainly didn't know he would end up dead.
And you found him sneaking into Lydia's room.
He has good taste. I'll give that to him.
Did you have any pre-existing relationship with Lydia?
You make it sound so scandalous. Her hotel histories and trip tips were my go-to source when touring in new places. We even met and socialized a few times. I liked her.
And where were you Wednesday night?
Wednesday night I was writing. Well, trying to. Like I said, it's not been going well.
Any way to prove that?
I can show you what I've got if you need proof it's not going well. But you have the security footage, don't you? And all my files and activities should all be timestamped.
How do I know you haven't tampered with one or both of those to make it seem that way?
Oh, your estimation of my skill is flattering. If that's really a concern, you could take it to Mr. Moon. He'd probably be able to prove they're authentic. He's an expert when it comes to tech.
Is he?
Completely obsessed, from what I've heard.
Interesting. Was coming to the moon your idea, or did Harrington Hotels ask you to come?
Neither, really. My marketing team thought it would be a great publicity opportunity, and they arranged it. One of the guys knew someone who was able to get me an early ticket, and before I knew it, I was booked and slated to hold a private show. That way, they can brand me either the first interstellar artist or the greatest artist in the solar system. We haven't decided which one has more pull. What do you think?
Me? I'm no authority on marketing.
No, but I have loads of people who are, and we've hashed and rehashed all the angles. I want to hear an honest outsider perspective.
People are remembered and celebrated for being the first, but they're attacked and discredited for being the best. If you're lucky enough to be the first, use it.
That makes sense. It also sounds a little like personal experience talking. Got a story?
You wanted my opinion, you got it.
Don't tease me like that. You know I have a weakness for mysteries.
She stared at me longingly, and her eyes were cool, blue, and piercing. The kind of eyes that could suck you in and hold you hostage in their pull. Some feelings that I hadn't felt in a long time tried to make a break for it, and it was all I could do to recollect them and keep my composure. It's part of an open and ongoing investigation, so I can't talk about it.
Okay, fine. Can I ask you a different question?
One.
Do you have any family?
Not close.
I don't have any either. My team of producers, that's all I have. We're basically a family, and they take good care of me. But sometimes things happen, and I remember that they're the ones running the show, and it's hard not to feel a little used. Do you ever get lonely, Bianca?
That's 2 questions.
But do you? I think I disagree with you.
About what?
First versus best. When talking about love, you may want to forget the first one, while the best one might be hiding just around the corner.
Bianca! I think I've got something, but I'm gonna need your help.
I'll be right there. Thanks for your time, Cypress.
I suppose I can't tag along?
Not unless I charge you with 2 counts of murder.
And as much as I might like the thought of handcuffs, I wouldn't be able to finish this stupid song. Will you be coming to the concert?
I don't know. It'll depend on where we are in the investigation. Now please, excuse me. Most people aren't that different from each other, despite what they want you to believe. Sure, they may not look, sound, or act the same, but deep down, beneath all the surface-level complexities, everyone is missing something. Whether that's someone to listen or to blame, to be better than or subservient to, someone to recognize their worth or challenge them to do more. And if you can find and fill that needed role, then regardless of if they want to or not, they'll open up to you. That was my strength. I didn't care if I was hated or thought of as stupid, evil, or inferior. As long as they told me what I needed to know, then I'd still won. There was one role, however, that was too dangerous and costly to play, and I'd sworn to never make myself do it again. Hey, Cole.
Yeah?
Thanks for coming to get me.
Don't mention it. Here, this is where I found the loot.
In the kitchen.
Behind the kitchen.
Alert. This is a restricted area. Guests are unauthorized to be here. Alert. This is a restricted area. Guests are unauthorized to be here. Alert.
Detectives,
this is a restricted
what seems
area.
to be the problem?
Alfred, can you get him off our case?
Alert.
Of course.
This is a restricted area.
Granting you authorization.
Guests are unauthorized to be here.
Done.
Alert.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. May I inquire as to what brings you back here?
Just call it a hunch.
I'm sorry, but I'm unfamiliar with your usage of that term. Can you explain it to me?
A hunch?
Yes. What does it mean?
It's a gut feeling that you may have about something, but without the facts to back it up yet.
So, similar to a predictive solution based upon a calculation in which the exact variables of that calculation are as of yet unknown.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, let me see.
But is it not foolish to take action without having all pertinent data available? What if your hunch is incorrect?
Then you learn and move on.
I see. I understand now. Thank you for the clarification.
What is this place?
This is the central disposal system. 88% of waste generated at this hotel is reusable and so is recycled accordingly. The system in front of you sorts disposed materials and determines the renewability of it, and then disseminates the organic content
I
to...
don't care. What about the rest? The non-organic material?
The remaining 12% is sent through our waste compactor, located on your left, and then stored.
And this is the only disposal system?
Yes. Due to the efficiency of our staff, and the limited number of occupants present, only one was deemed necessary.
So, this is the only way to dispose of something in this hotel. And it's also where I found another loop. I think our killer was here.
Okay, what's the plan?
I need a boost.
Sure thing.
Oh, that's a bad angle. I can't see anything from out here. Is this thing automatic?
Yes, it is pressure sensitive. Once the sensors detect enough weight inside, it begins compacting.
What's the limit?
Wait, you're not gonna...
85 newtons, which, due to the moon's gravity, equates to 50 kilograms, or approximately 110 pounds.
That won't work. What about a way to temporarily shut it down?
There is a button on the control panel that serves as a manual override.
Perfect. Bianca, can you hold that down to make sure it doesn't activate? I really don't want to be any smaller.
This button?
Correct.
Okay, you're good to go.
His size makes him well suited to this task.
Yeah, we all have our talents and our roles to play. What?
It's empty.
Alfred, where does the trash go from here?
One of the old bunkers used during construction of the hotel was repurposed into a non-organic waste holding facility. Once compacted, all non-organic material is taken there.
Alfred, what was that?
We seem to have undergone a power outage. Please do not panic, though. All essential systems, like life support, have multiple redundant backup generators, ensuring there is no danger of asphyxiation.
Are these outages common?
Beth, everything is back to full operational capacity.
Okay, so, why isn't this button working anymore?
Hey, that's not funny, Bianca.
I didn't do anything, but we just had a power outage. Alfred?
It appears the brief loss of power has nullified the effectiveness of this override button, causing it to no longer function properly. Or at least that would be my hunch.
Hang on, Cole!
Get me out of here!
Quick! Give me your hands, now pull up!
The sides are starting to block the entrance point. I don't think I can make it back through.
Give me all your weight. Hopefully that will reset the sensor.
And if it doesn't...
Just do it! Did it. Okay. Alfred, can you help me pull him out?
Of course.
Okay. Well, that was almost really bad.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anytime. Actually, no. Let's never do that again.
I am glad you are both undamaged.
Yeah? What the hell happened? What about the whole old systems in this hotel are completely operational?
There must have been an error.
You can say that again. I almost got squashed.
There must have been an error.
I didn't actually mean... Oh, look, never mind. What's next?
Well, the storage bunkers. If you still think that's a lead worth pursuing.
Yes. It almost killed me, so We might as well see it through.
Okay. Alfred, we need to get there.
That region is out of bounds for our normal spacewalks, but I can grant you emergency access.
Okay, good. Thank you.
However, due to potential scheduling errors and to comply with all regulations, it is hotel policy that all suites must be reserved at least 4 hours in advance, and a preliminary safety course must also be completed before eligibility to spacewalk is met.
Can we override it?
There is no override on safety.
You've got to be kidding me.
Thank you for choosing to spend your time with us at Heavensgate Resort and Hotel. We are truly honored by your presence and hope you've enjoyed your visit thus far. This experience was envisioned by Richard C. Mills and Jordan H. Mills and was brought to life by the vocal talents of Marta da Silva, Lofty Fulton, David Ault, June Yoon, Joanna Tope, Antonio King, Sasha Masakowski, Ethan Carlson, Andy Harvey, Daniel Cross, Hesham Elshazly, and Alexandra Grace Willoughby, with additional performances by Joseph Narducci, Nato Jacobson, Laura Richcreek, Georgia Mckenzie, Shaun Conde, Hannah Glavin, J.K. Robbins, Randy Streu, Vinay Nariani, Bjorn Munson, Chaz Alberti, and Nathaniel Battaglia. Casting assistance provided by June Yoon and Jasmine Sabri, and recording assistance by Tom Service and Rami Hussein. Editing by Christian Carlson and Richard C. Mills, with sound design and engineering by Richard C. Mills and Dane Leonardson. Musical score created and produced by the IB Oral team, with original compositions by Alexi Gala, sound design, mix and master by Edgar Ibarra, and music management by Juan Jimenez, with Lunar concert music written and performed by Sasha Masakowski. Artwork and graphic design by Jordan H. Mills. And of course, none of this would be possible without the generous support of our patrons, including Rich and Jeanette Mills, William and Sharon Heath, Eric Carlson, Chaz Alberti, and Nathaniel Battaglia. If you've enjoyed your time here, we'd like to encourage you to rate and review your stay. And on behalf of all the creators and staff, we want to thank you for choosing Heavensgate Resort and Hotel. We hope you'll visit again soon.